Welcome to another episode of TFL's Top 5. And Nathan, you said this is a three-sided coin?
Yeah, we've done two other episodes that are similar to this, but they were like the flip side of this. This subject matter is different.
Yeah, this is the top 5 surprisingly good off-road vehicles. And we've done the ones that aren't so super off-road. Click above to see that. And if you wait a second, here we go. Click above if you want to see the ones that are really good off-road. So these are the ones that are good off-road, but they're surprisingly so.
Yeah, they surprised the hell out of us because we weren't expecting them to be capable. And let's just get right into it and you'll see what we mean. Number 5 is the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 4x4. Yes, the big van with the tall roof is really capable off-road. Now, in Europe, there are other versions of this vehicle that we don't get. But here, we do get a 4x4 version, which, off-road, surprised the hell out of me. I actually got a chance to take it off-road, and it did way more than I expected it to do. Really good articulation in the rear, very capable, surprisingly high underneath, so there was some really good ground clearance. The thing just went like a mountain goat.
Now, a little caveat here. These vehicles are, first and foremost, available for you to buy. So we're not picking cars that aren't for sale here in America.
Right.
And number 2, we've driven them. So
yes.
You drove it. I haven't driven it. I did go to Mercedes recently and drove the Metris and the regular van. I talked to them about the 4x4, and they said, get this, there's a 7-month wait to get a 4x4. That's how popular they are. And they're expensive.
Oh, they're not cheap at all. No. Not at all. And I haven't driven it in snow yet, but I've heard from other people who we've worked with before that they're fantastic in snow. So very popular vehicle, very expensive vehicle, and a very capable vehicle.
And we tried really hard. I talked to the Motor Week guys, and they gave me a connection over at Winnebago, and we tried really hard this summer to get one of the Winnebagos that's built on the 4x4 chassis to test and to have this summer, but they just wouldn't do it. So,
yep.
Winnebago, you missed out, and so did you guys. Maybe next year we'll get a 4x4 Sprinter Winnebago. Wouldn't that be cool?
Or maybe another RV manufacturer.
All right, number 4, Nathan.
This is another one that we were not, both of us were not expecting to do particularly well off-road, especially because it's a crossover, and that's the Honda Pilot, the new one, with the new transmission. It did everything we asked for it to do, and then more. It actually went up our difficult obstacle, the third component of the Gold Mine Hill. And what happened was I got to that point, I figured, okay, we're done. And sure enough, the tires are street tires, they weren't gripping. I put my foot down and thought about it. I was like, I'll let it go for a little bit because the camera would like to see the wheels. And as they're spinning, all of a sudden it started moving. And holy crap, it made it up and over the obstacle. Very impressive capability for a crossover.
Yeah, it bodes well for the Honda Ridgeline, which is basically the same truck. We have not I've driven it kind of on a light off-road Honda course, and that doesn't count. We have to actually test it here in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
For us to pronounce it, and so pronounce it off-road worthy. And so we're going to take it up Gold Mine Hill. We're actually doing a comparison, Nathan, of all 5 mid-sized trucks next month. So we're going to have all 5 mid-sized trucks. We're going to take them on road, we're going to take them off-road, and we're going to take them up into the mountains. And we're going to do a very extensive and I think one of the most fun videos we've done in a long time.
It's a mega super mashup. And speaking of off-road and stuff that he's done, this next one, it's all you, because you're the one who took this off-road, and you're the one who took the modified version off-road.
Yeah, I took the Mercedes-Benz G Wagon, the G65 AMG with the W12 engine off-road, V12, not W12. Don't want to confuse it with our bonus. with the V12. And I can't believe how good it did on like street tires with 22s. And keep in mind, guys, we only get the 8-cylinder and the 12 here. We don't get the ones a lot of our viewers get in Europe, right? Which is the diesel version, which is actually the real off-road one. We just get the Miami Beach, Hollywood Boulevard cruisers, which
nobody ever really takes off-road except for him.
Yeah, and it had 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 locking diffs, front, center, back, and it's a mountain goat, man. Even on 22s, what can I say? It like blew my mind. 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. It's like driving a barn door into the wind because it's straight up. It's got that straight up off-road kind of stance, and yet off-road capable, on-road fantastic. Really a cool vehicle. Crazy ass expensive. $226,000.
200. That's all. That's it. It's pocket cash.
And they can't build them fast enough. There's a lot of money in this world, man.
Woo.
All right, number 2.
Number 2 is another one that we've had different experiences with, because this is the Lexus GX460. Now, I've taken the regular GX460 off-road, and it did pretty good. We couldn't take it up all the way up, to the heavy obstacles on the other course, because it has a low overhang on the front and the side sills, and the wheels themselves could get damaged. They were just, frankly, too large and not built for off-roading. However,
we did take a modified version of it off-road up Cliffhanger that had basically a lift and bigger tires and wheels, and it handled the course magnificently. It just went up Cliffhanger, tore up that. I was just surprised how much off-road ability that vehicle has. Now, of course, on our previous list of not so great off-road cars, we did have the LX570, and we dinged it because of the same thing, right? We said it.
But it's even worse.
But that one's even worse, right? That one's even more luxurious. It's even more boulevard cruiserish. This one at least has some semblance from the factory of off-road worthiness. And if you do take it off-road, which we have done in stock form, it will go off-road. And if you actually lift it and put bigger wheels on it, then it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line, is that just minor modifications to get around all the schmutz that Lexus threw on it, and you suddenly have a vehicle that can really perform. So,
all right. And this is probably the number one, the most surprising, and we've taken both of these off-road, and actually I took one off-road in Europe, and we took one off-road here, and that is the Porsche Cayenne / Volkswagen Touareg twins.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, they share the same platform, a lot of the same mechanicals, and they have very different personalities, but off-road, as long as you get the right version, they are extremely capable. And we're talking about a vehicle that has four-wheel independent suspension and is built to drive on the streets quickly.
Yeah.
However, off-road, I remember driving behind him when he was in the Porsche, and he was going over hills, and I was watching the rear end articulate, and I've never seen anything work so beautifully off-road in terms of how poetic it was. Just simply it absorbed everything he threw at it, and I just never saw anything quite like it.
Yeah, there are some basics to off-roading and fast cars that are similar, right? If you're going to hang components off a car, you want a very stiff structure, right? And what I mean by that is suspension bits.
Yeah.
So the stiffer the structure, the better it is when it comes to being on the racetrack, and the better it is off-road. And both of those have extremely rigid and stiff chassis. So when you do hang the off-road bits on them, or in this case the on-road bits, they have a much more secure place to actually mount. I took the Touareg specifically off-road on this. Oh my God! Usually the manufacturers build a course that's like, oh, let's put a wheel up, right? Looks cool.
Yeah.
But some German in a field went crazy with and this thing was like not with one wheel in the air, but like 3 wheels in the air. I was like pivoting on one wheel. Chassis didn't flex, and I was just amazed at how good it was. And then the same thing when we took the Cayenne version off-road. I thought to myself, just slap on some BFGs, and get rid of the 22s, and you got yourself a vehicle that will rival any other off-roader. People won't do it, but they could.
Now, I believe in Europe you can get or could get some of these with like off-road tires and a few other things to make them
the Touareg,
yeah. But over here you can't. But if a second-hand, third-hand car that you want to take off-road, if you don't mind paying a lot of money for service, it's a really good, amazing off-road car, and that's what I'm going to call it, an off-road car, because at the end of the day,
it's a car,
that's basically what it is.
All right, and we always like to do a bonus, and we've actually taken both of these. Let's start with the one that you took off-road, which was the Range Rover Evoque.
Yeah, now I've done a few off-road journeys with the Range Rover Evoque. If the vehicle were a little bit higher with proper off-road tires, seriously, it could go just about anywhere a regular, like a Jeep Cherokee or Grand Cherokee could go. But the ones that we had regular street tires, and they were low to the ground. And the bottom line was, and you said it best, it would chew itself to bits before the four-wheel drive system would quit.
Yeah, so you would go up Mount Everest, you would just tear the hell out of the car, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and the other one that is actually really good off-road, and I've taken it in the dunes, is the also very expensive Bentley Bentayga. Now that's the W12.
And that's just a ridiculous vehicle in so many ways.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody will ever take that off-road, but if you do want to take it off-road, you can take it off-road, and it will actually do probably a lot of damage to itself, but it will get you there. Not a lot of damage, let's just say it will do expensive damage to itself, which could just mean a scratch in the undercoating.
The bottom line is, if you have oil fields of your own that you want to examine and you need to get to through rough terrain, this is the vehicle for you. I just don't understand its purpose or why it even exists, but you've driven it, you say it's amazing, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you know, if you want a Bentley that you can fit the family into and go to your ski chalet or your mountain, as it may be, then this is the only one that exists, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what else are you going to get?
The Mercedes G565.
Right, but you want a Bentley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hey, if you have any ideas for lists, we love doing them, and it's great because it's interactive. We get to work with you guys directly. So add your ideas below, and please, if you have vehicles that surprised you off-road, add them below as well.
Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, check out tflcar.com for more news, views,
and real-world reviews.
And of course, tfltruck.com. You think we'll ever get a Bentayga?
No, I seriously doubt it. Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao. Welcome to another episode of TFL Top 5, Nathan, and today we've got the flip side of the coin that me and Andre did, which is the top 5 new off-road vehicles that are super off-road. Andre and I did the ones that aren't super off-road. Now me and you get to do the ones that are super off-road, but there's a caveat, right?
Yeah.
Which is we've had to have tested them and driven them, and B, they have to be new. In other words, they have to be for sale.
That's right. I mean, believe me, we would love to put the Ford Raptor in this one as well because it would definitely fit. But the reality is, that technically, sorry, but it's technically 2 years out of date. So we're not going to do that until we get the new Ford Raptor, which may actually make this list, but it may not.